Okay everyone, sorry it took me such a long time to get to the stream today. Basically what happened was training's been really intense and I took a nap this afternoon and I woke up just recently, cleaned myself up, and here I am. Alright, so let's get right to it, shall we? Let me see here. Let's go through some of the comments and then see what's going on here. Okay, so I'm just going to read through some of your comments real quick, and then I'll also say hi to everyone in the chat. Okay, so, alright, let's read a comment. When I get comfortable, this is from Helico, with a move, I tend to branch out of my coach's teachings and try different arm movements and what not to see what works best for me. My coach was hesitant about me branching out at first, but she's starting to pick up on the phases I go through as we train and become more supportive of me branching out once I get the fundamentals down. Alright, so this is in relation. Let me just switch over here so you could see which video we're talking about here. Alright. I'm gonna pull up the episode real quick. So, since the last stream I did, I made several educational videos, and this is in reference to the latest one, episode 111, the backward half swizzle pumps. Let me do this, find it real quick. Okay, I'm going to drag it on here. Here we go. Okay, so what we're looking at right now, I'm just going to jump ahead through this. I haven't put it on my YouTube page yet, so that's why you're not seeing it just yet. There we go. Okay, and make sure you can see it here. Okay, good. So this is an exercise for a knee and ankle action. That's something I've been talking about in the past couple of videos. And this is a really good exercise if you're just trying to work out your knee and ankle action. Now, specifically what we're talking about with a helico there was that I was saying that at the end of the video, my big idea was that there's more than one way to do something in skating. And the first thing you want to do is, of course, you want to stick to your coach's teaching until you master it. And when I say there's different ways of doing things, there's not so much a right or wrong way, and you'll hear about this if you watch the video, you probably know what I'm talking about. But essentially, there are different ways of doing different things, different positions for different specific things that you have to do, or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Furthermore, when you do a program, you're not necessarily going to go through the most comfortable positions. Because what happens is you're trying to tell a story on top of executing elements, and it's like a puzzle you gotta solve when you choreograph this. You come up with a certain solution, so to speak. But it's very interesting. I mean, I always enjoy choreography, but sometimes, actually quite a lot, I suppose, in dance, is when you have a program, there is a lot of things you go through that might feel different than, let's say, you're doing it if you're just doing a series of moves. And that's important because you don't want your programs to look like a series of moves in the field. But getting back to the comment section, let's see what else we got going on here. Anyway, check out this video. It's episode 111. Okay, next, we have, I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher your name here. It's Midge Shush. Or Shosh. Hi Oleg, thank you for the muscle memory exercise. Something simple but yet essential to progressions. Can you please explain breaking at the waist and sticking your hips out, maybe with a video demonstrating this error or explanation? Actually, that is a very good question. Okay, so breaking at the waist and sticking your hips out. I'm gonna show you what that is, but I really should make a video just on that because I talk about it in so many different videos. So let's get right to that real quick here. We're gonna use the same video that I just looked at. Okay, so let's find a point here. So here we have an axis. We have your shoulders, your hips, and your heels. And you can think of a single line running through your body. That's your axis. When I talk about an axis, that refers to a line that either runs through something or that you skate around. So that's what the word axis here is. I mean, that's what an axis is. Anyway, here I am aligned through my shoulders into my hips, my heels, nothing sticking out. I mean, like my arms are, but that's fine. It's your core that you're concerned about. Now, if we go forward a little bit, do a pump, I press down. Now, this isn't a perfect axis here. See, I'm leaning forward a little bit. I mean, it's not too bad, but you could still see the line kind of runs shoulder, hips, heel right here. You could still see it run through me. I mean, this could be better. Normally, I wouldn't want my butt sticking out this much. I'd want it more underneath me here. So even I'm not perfect at this. Not that I am perfect to begin with, but what I'm saying is this kind of a thing, even though I've been working on this sort of thing for a while, I still got to watch myself and make sure that I'm not messing up my axis. Here, again, leaning forward a little bit, and this hips aren't sticking out though, they're over my heels. So now, I mean, you want to do this maybe a little bit, but not too much. Let's go a little further, see how I do here. Come up, and press down, a little better. See, my butt's not sticking out so much. And this is a better alignment now. What you want to do is, in order to get this to happen, you want to press into your ankles right here. Now see, if you look at my knees, I'm pushing my knees past my toes. That's important because you can't really sit down if you can't push your knees past your toes. And that often happens because the skater ties their ankles too tight. If this is too tight over here, then you're not going to be able to press forward, and in effect you're going to be able to get your hips back too much because you're not able to push your knees forward. So you're going to break this axis right here, and to compensate you're going to lean forward, breaking that axis there. But again, show don't tell, so I really should make a video specifically on that, and I will. That's a great idea. Let's move on here. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. I'm going to just go through a few comments, say hi to everyone. Hi Jay, thank you for loving my videos, thank you. And then we have Fushigina91, sorry if I mispronounced that. Thank you for the big idea. I hope once I master my coach's idea I can try different styles of skating. Yes. And yeah, definitely remember, stick to what your coach says first before trying different things. And Kevin Lowe says, can you talk about eagles in arbors? Are you talking about spread eagles? Let me just ask him real quick so we're on the same page. Okay, and then he also, son, any suggestions for increasing your fluency with your less dominant leg, specifically when going backwards? Oh yeah, I got something for you. Alright, so in terms of improving your fluency with your weaker side, so most people have a stronger side and a weaker side. Myself, I'm a lefty, so I skate lefty. And I mean, I don't skate lefty, but naturally I would want to skate lefty, but I actually learned to skate righty. It's, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it means that there's a certain direction and a certain foot that's easier for you. So if you're lefty, typically your left foot's going to be easier for you, and going clockwise would be easier for you, let's say like on backward crossovers for instance, and versus if you're righty, it'll be easier to go counterclockwise. If you notice in ice rinks, everyone always skates counterclockwise when going around in the public session. I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect it has to do because like something like 90% of people are righties, right-handed, and left-handed, right-handed. Anyway, so what we're talking about here is how do you get stronger on your less dominant side? Well, the way I did it was just work on it. If you have a weaker side, you just have to work on it a lot. When I say that I learned to skate righty, like a right-handed person, early on, like really early on, I started at 18, but I went into freestyle. I didn't want to do dance initially. So what happened was I did freestyle, and you either jump like a lefty or just like a righty in terms of the way you rotate around. So if you jump, and if you are right-handed, you're going to rotate in the air counterclockwise, and if you jump like a lefty, you would rotate clockwise. So what happened was I learned to skate like a right-handed person because I figured maybe later on I would end up doing something that involved a partner, and yeah, actually it was a good decision I made. I didn't get very far in freestyle, but that's kind of the thing behind it. It doesn't really matter what you're born with naturally. You could overcome a weaker side and make it your dominant side by the sheer amount of practice that you put into it. That's really it. And what I recommend my students, if say we're working on twizzles and they have a weaker twizzle on weaker twizzling foot than the other foot, for every time you do your strong foot, you do the weaker foot twice. So that's how you want to do it. And doing it that way, and for instance like crossovers, if you have a stronger direction, say clockwise is stronger for you than counterclockwise, then double up your counterclockwise. For every one, you do two. And before you know it, you're going to even them out. In terms of, do you ever fully 100% even things out? You're always going to have a dominant side, I suppose. For me, my dominant foot now is no longer the left foot, but the right foot. And this has to do with a lot of things like 1 foot step sequences. They're primarily done on the right foot, and because of that, it's just from years and years and years of doing things that are required to be dominant on the right foot's become the dominant foot, even though naturally my left foot was my dominant foot. But again, if I wanted to make my left foot my dominant foot, I just simply train it much more than the right. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, the difference is not that significant. You just, after a while, things kind of even out. I mean, you can still know that there's a dominant side, but you can kind of pick your dominant side just by the amount of effort you put into it. Okay, let's take a look in the comments real quick here. Okay, Spread Eagles and Ina Bowers. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let me get back here. I'm here. So, in terms of Spread Eagles and Ina Bowers, good news is that in our program with Ashley and I, we have a lot of both. So I've been working on them a lot, and I will be making videos of them coming up soon. Now, when I make a video, I want to make sure that the video is going to be good enough. But before that, I'm going to give you some exercises that you can do. Let me switch here real quick. Okay, we're going to go on my website. We're going to look at a video. Actually, you know what? We can probably go to Exericse. The two websites are linked. I made them both. So here we go. If we go here, we go into videos. This is Exericse. And as you can see, I can hop around between the two if I go into videos. Back and forth. That way, if it's for you guys, it's convenient. You can go in and find the video that you're looking for. Alright, so we're gonna find way back. I gotta find this video. I talked about this, I believe it was in the last episode we looked at, but it should be, might take me a couple of tries to find it here. Should have been in the Choctaws, but, let me see here. Alright, just 1 second here. Alright, this is Choctaws Part 2, 34. I think it was in the earlier one. Here we go. I think it's in this episode, but we're going to know in a minute here. Alright, there we go. Yep, I got it first try. So, let's look at this exercise. Let's go back here a little bit. Further back. Alright. So with you stand against the wall this way, and I still use this exercise. I still do this for my own spread eagles when I warm them up, for the lifts that we do and transitions and things like that. So stand against the wall. You want your heels right here, up close against the wall. You don't want them sticking out like this. I really should make another video explaining all of this much more thoroughly. Hips against the wall, and then you push your hips forward, you lean back against the wall, and this gets you to stretch. Now, if we go through this real quick, and just let's watch the video for a minute here. Okay, now the other thing is, I didn't do it here, but let me go back here. You could also practice this by first bending, so you bend your knees out and you squat down by pushing your hips against the wall. That's gonna keep your getting better turnout, and you can work on your sitting spread eagle. But let's continue now. Okay, so here we're going through fifth position. If this was ballet, this would be called the fifth position. And again, I'm not a ballet dancer. It's just something that, you know, I've taken ballet classes for skating. So right here, you want your heels against the toes as close as possible. You want your feet as parallel as possible. And you want to try and straighten out, keeping your hips against the wall, don't stick your butt out. All of this is going to help turn out your hip flexors and your ankle turnout, and that's very important in order to be able to do spread eagles and the bowers, because your feet are 180 degrees. They're apart, they're pointing, your toes will be pointing in opposite directions as right here. Go through this. And there we go. So this is another thing you can do, pressing and rising while keeping your hips close to the wall. And again, I'm going to go and do the other side. That's important too. If you just work one side, it is effective, of course, but you want to be comfortable with both sides. Okay. Just go back out of here and alright. Okay, and let's see here. And Kevin also asked, can you talk about type of transitions? Let me see here. I'm asking him specifically. Okay, so again, I'm just asking him specifically what was his question in terms of transitions, and while we do that, let me take a look at, let's see here, the earlier comments on my other video, episode 111. This is Peter Nagan. Okay, now in the video I talked about, again, like at the beginning of this video, that there are correct and incorrect ways. People think that there are correct and incorrect ways, but it's not so much correct or incorrect. I mean, there are obviously things you can do really wrong and you can get hurt doing them, but what we're talking about is technique here, and this is what I said is, well, there's not so much correct or incorrect, but rather more efficient, less efficient. So he says, my incorrect tips to train on new dangerous things is to first try it on hockey skates, then when you feel secure, do it on figure skates. This is, for example, how I learned to do spread eagles and outside edges. If you have ever fallen forward on your toe pick, then you know, like me, that you do not want to do that ever again. Smiley face. So, this is actually, I've got an interesting story for you. Let me just hit, there we go, hit him, hang on, hit the wrong button. Give him a like and a heart, and I'll comment later. Let me transition. Well, in terms of whether I would personally try something dangerous in hockey skates versus figure skates, I have skated in hockey skates before. Early on, I had a pair of hockey skates. Now, I started as a figure skater, but when I started working as a skate guard, you just go around in circles for about 2 hours, making sure no one does anything crazy on the ice. Anyway, I would wear hockey skates, and they're actually a little more comfortable than figure skates, I found. So I would just skate around in hockey skates, plus you could kind of do some fun stuff, like you can glide on the very tip of the heel and the very tip of the toe pick, like this. It's pretty cool what you can do in hockey skates. But specifically in this case, would I want to try something in hockey skates that I know is dangerous in figure skates? Probably not, because I'm not as good in hockey skates as figure skates. I mean, if I was equally comfortable, I don't know. But I'm much more comfortable in figure skates, so I kind of know what to expect. But getting back to what he said, yeah, figure skates can be dangerous. Topic can be dangerous. As a matter of fact, I have metal parts in my leg because of that. Early on, I broke my ankle on the fourth dance, the canasta tango, and I got metal parts in my right ankle now. So I got a plate and about 6 screws. So that took a while to recover from, and I got that because I did a swing roll, and I swung my foot back when I lost my balance, and I hit the ice with my toe pick, and then I fell back onto my leg, breaking my ankle pretty badly, actually. So yeah, I needed surgery and about 4.5 months for a full recovery. But yeah, I mean, like, you gotta be careful. This stuff is dangerous. You probably, if you've watched my other videos, you know how I often go on and on about, you know, you have to do strength conditioning, and you have to work on strength, agility, flexibility, and control to reduce your chance of getting hurt. And how I talk about getting hurt is not so much a matter of if, but when. That's just the way it is. You're gonna get scars, you're gonna get injuries, and sometimes really bad injuries. There's no guarantees. One thing I will say, though, is that had I not become an athlete and just lived the normal life, even though I've suffered a lot more injuries than I probably would just sitting at a desk or something like that. I'm talking about just myself, all other things being even, because initially I wasn't really athletic when I became a skater. I was just sit at home, you know, be on a computer, do schoolwork, play video games kind of guy. So what I'm saying is, while I probably would not have suffered as much, I would physically not be as healthy as I am now. I know that for a fact. And I would actually be in worse shape, even though I probably would have suffered less. It's kind of a paradox or a contradiction in a sense, but what happens is the human body is designed for motion and movement, so exercising is what it's designed to do. And while, I mean, there are other ways to exercise, obviously. You can just go to the gym, but the gym, before I became a skater, was not very appealing to me, so I have a pretty good idea where I'd be if I did not pursue skating in terms of where I would be physically, which would not be very physically active. And that's why skating is really, in a sense, it's given me a lot better health than I would have otherwise, in spite of everything else. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying, skating is dangerous. Take care of your body. Be smart. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything that you're not comfortable with doing. And if you're scared to do something, then you want to think real hard before doing it, because doing something when you're afraid, fear will not make you any safer. As a matter of fact, it'll make things more dangerous. What fear is good for is to stop you from doing something. Fear is there to say, all right, don't do this because you're going to get hurt. And if you listen and you don't do it, okay, then no problems, right? But if you're like, okay, I'm really scared, but I'm going to go do it anyway, that's when you're going to get hurt. So all the things we know they're dangerous, and we're trained to be smart. We do get hurt, but at the same time, it is what it is. You got to do, like, let me show you. Just, I got slashed across my wrist. Can't see it very well here. That's with Ashley's skate. This is a couple weeks back. You know, we still keep going. This stuff happens. You're gonna have permanent scars. You're gonna have serious injuries that you have to work through sometimes. It's part of life, part of skating, unfortunately. And anyway, let's move on. Let's take a look here. All right, and let's read the comments real quick here. Alright, so, okay. Oh, okay, alright, now I see what he was getting at. Okay, forwards to backwards and vice versa. This is Kevin, though. He asked me about transitions, mohawks, and 3 turns. Epic Reaper Games. Shout out to Epic Reaper Games here. Did you ever need to get stitches? Yes, I have needed to get stitches. Well, actually, it was staples. They, after I got my metal parts, they stapled me up, and, yeah, that eventually got rid of. They took them out. Anyway, and of course I've done stuff in life where I've needed stitches before, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, and Helico said, I've broken each wrist while figure skating. Currently have a cast as I type this. Had never broken a bone before I started skating. No regrets. Yeah, it's true. As for a matter of fact, if you go into the Xenia and Oleg videos, like our second or third video, she's got a cast that she broke on the fin step. And yeah, it's dangerous. At the same time, you can do things that conditioning will make a big difference. It's not gonna protect you from everything, but I'd say reduce 90% chance of you getting seriously hurt. Okay, let's talk about, and of course, yeah, that's the thing I should mention. You can get safety gear. As a matter of fact, I know some I teach some skaters, and they get these wrist things that they wear on their wrist, and you could wear a helmet, knee pads, elbow pads. You can do all of that. I mean, it's no problem. Like, I personally wouldn't wear that because I would not make it easy for me to do what we have to do on the ice. But the thing about it is, yeah, if you're not like skating with a partner, if you're just skating by yourself and you're trying stuff, you can use knee and elbow pads by all means. Just keep yourself safe. All right, well, let's get back to the question Kevin had in terms of transitions. Here we go. Alright, so we're going to go on my website. Here we go. I stands for oleg.com videos, and I have to update the videos. I have not put the latest 4 or 5 videos, so I've been just so busy, and training's been really intense. So let's go in here real quick, and we're going to look at playlists. Alright, turns. I'm just going to look at some turns. Now, I haven't covered all of the turns. There's still some I have to do, but we have rockers and counters. These are most of these videos. They refer to just the turns themselves. There are an infinite number of combinations you can do as exercises to string various turns together. I mean, depending upon how long of a combination you want, you can really stretch it to however long you can imagine. But here we have Mohawks, counters, and we're going to look at some of this stuff here. We have 3 turns. Now, this was, most of the stuff's recorded at Aspen. There we go. All right, let's look at, here we go. Actually, let's look at an interesting one. This is an exercise that you can do for control. And here we go. Now, to check out that playlist, find the turns you want to see, and you can work on them. You could also do them as moves in the field. If you go back further down here, I do have some of the from moves in the field, but a lot of the other moves in the field just go through moves in the field, and you can work on those turns. It's such a good resource US Figure Skating created, moves in the field. Anyway, let's look at this video here. Alright, so behind me is my skate guard, and this is a control exercise. What you do is, you do a turn, and then you use the skate guard to keep yourself from swinging your arms around. So in this case, I'm doing a forward inside closed mohawk. Notice that my hips are closed right there. Let me just roll that back one more time. There. So my hips are closed. That makes the closed mohawk. Holding the guard is still using my shoulder to control myself, maintaining my axis, but this way you don't rely on keeping your arms up all the time. And let's look at a few other turns. Just gonna go through this real quick. Let's take a look at forward outside 3 turns. Okay, now this, here we go. I'll just start this real quick. By the way, this was a beautiful, beautiful sunset that I got one time. Yeah, this is at Aspen. Okay, let me jump forward here. Alright, so as we watch this 3 turn really gives a lot of people problems. because checking is the hard part. And in this case, what you want to do is you want to have good control over your axis. After you turn, this is where it becomes a problem for people, is they tend to fall into the circle. For one thing, when you work on turns, you want to make sure that whatever edges you're using in that turn, that you're comfortable with doing those edges outside of the turn. So work on your edges first, and then if you have strong enough edges, you could pretty much do most turns as long as you understand cross-checking and a few other things. But maintain your axis, skate through your heel. If you're up on your toe pick, you can have no control. Here I'm using the free leg and pulling my hip back and my toe back to check myself. I'm rotating myself onto the circle I'm on. So this curve here is my circle, my edge, and my upper body is facing inside of it like that. So that keeps me from over-rotating. Right there. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, here's a better angle. Shoulder, hip, heel axis. This comes up a lot. So always think about that. I'm skating through my heel. If I'm on my toe, it's just not going to happen. And again, pulling all this back. If I let this swing in, or if I keep my hips inside here, if my hips were in line with my toe this way, then I would fall in the circle. And this rotation here is keeping me from falling in along with my leg. That's I'm able to hold that edge. Alright, and we'll see here. Okay, so just gonna take probably one or two last comments and then I gotta get going because I have to train early tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, here we go. We're gonna have Helico writes, I did purchase a lot of safety gear though, LOL. Yeah, definitely use safety gear, and remember, strength and conditioning is gonna make a big difference. So work on strengthening your body overall, because even with that kind of equipment, you want to have strength, agility, control, and flexibility. Because, for instance, if you're not flexible enough, you could still fall down and tear something or really mess yourself up. And then, here we go. Let's see here again. Sorry guys that this is so late today. I literally slept through it. I was so tired from training because our programs is really intense. But it's good. It's really good to be training here. Okay, and Fushijina91 writes, again, sorry if I mispronounce any of your names. I know you haven't made a video on backward double 3 turns, but you probably use them frequently. But how can you make them more free skate-like than making them look like moves in the field? Okay, so let me actually get myself back on the screen here. Yeah, on the next series of moves, so I just finished, episode 110 was the last of the juvenile moves, so I move on to intermediate moves now, and that includes backward double 3 turns. And what I intend to do is to do a double 3 turn forwards and double 3 turns backwards video that you can use in conjunction with the moves videos. So look forward to that in the near future. And speaking of videos, I had promised you to do the Hydroblade video, and I actually had it recorded. I had it recorded from Canada, as a matter of fact. But then when I went to edit it, this is a couple of days earlier, I noticed that the footage, let me see what happens. When you record yourself, sometimes you run into this. I use digital zooming to get myself in the center of the screen, meaning that I take the video, and I zoom in and out digitally. But when you do that, you're not actually able to maintain the same resolution, meaning that the more you zoom in, the more pixelated it gets, because you can't actually zoom in and out. It's the same size. But what happens is, also sometimes because of that, the camera doesn't track properly, so all my Hydroblade videos were basically fuzzy. Let's put it that way. It didn't look right, and I'm going to have to record that. But now that I have Ashley here, she's going to be able to just record me, so I should be able to have that out pretty quickly. And let me get back to here. Let's see here. So let me answer another question here. Right, I'll make the double 3 turns videos and the additional Hydroblade video. Now I do have, if we go here, meanwhile, I do have a Hydroblade video that I made. I just wanted to give you additional information. So if you click on Ice Dancer Oleg, this is just the general list of my videos that I have on here. And we're just going to take a look at the Hydroblade video real quick. I'm going to transition myself onto the screen here. Okay, so this is a hydroblade video I made, and this was at Bellingham, Washington. So we're just gonna play this real quick. And this is actually this little lake here, or this little pond, I suppose, is near the apartment complex where I used to live. It's a very nice place. Jumping ahead, I'm just doing some hydroblades here. Anyway, like I said, check out the video. I'm not going to go into specifics too much. There are some exercises you can do that will help you do it. And when you go down initially, now in this video, I put my foot down on the ice, my free foot, then I lift it up. But in the one that I recorded, my second one, I actually did it without touching the ice, and I wanted to show it to you guys. But like I said, the video is all fuzzy, so I will be re-recording that and look forward to that. Let me just get back here. Okay, let's see here. Alright, Epic Reaper Games 97. I have a question about the T-stop. Every time I do a T-stop, I bead to stop. Bead? Let me see here. Not sure what she's trying to say here. Let's see here. I need to know specifically what is the problem so I can address it. I feel like I'm about to fall back. And then furthermore, I'm having some trouble on backward inside 3 turns. Can you give me some tips? Yes, I will. Need. Okay, here we go. Need. Okay. Let me read that again. Epic Reaper Games 97 says, I have a question about the T-stop. Every time I do a T-stop, I need to stop. I feel like I'm about to fall back. Alright, so let's take a look at that real quick. Now, if you look at any one of my videos on my website, if you scroll down the bottom, all of the other videos are there. I normally don't go through them this way, but if I don't have a specific playlist for something, or I didn't put it in a playlist, that's why I'm going through here. I remember now that I have to put the T-stop. This is a tango stop here. That's another cool thing, but we're just going to look at a generic T-stop I did a while back. Here we go, the T-stop. Alright, this is also a really cool area. I'm just going to show you this real quick. Now, if you notice that my videos have a post-apocalyptic tinge to them, where when I made with Xenia, we made sometimes like supernatural elements in our videos, like ghosts and witches and stuff like that. But with climate change, and it really is a real problem. And I mean, the thing that amazes me is that with people that say, oh, I don't believe in climate change and things like that, I'm not here to judge anyone, but I think we could all agree that everyone wants clean air, clean water, and does not want to have pollution in their food and so forth. I mean, those things are worth fighting for, and we need to protect this planet because we only have one planet. And that's one of the reasons why there's a post-apocalyptic tinge to my videos, is because the things that I talk about in like the video I made, The End, and this kind of thing where you occasionally see the things crop up as a theme in the videos, is because this is coming down the pipe. This is what the future will be like if we do not take care of the planet. I mean, it's simple. It's a closed system in the sense that what happens on one side of the planet, if big enough, eventually touches the other side of the planet. I mean, if the air all circulates, you know, we have the I mean, it all goes around and ultimately comes back onto itself, in the sense that consequences will ultimately come back to bite you if you do not think about what you do in terms of the action. So we have to take care of the planet because it's the only planet we got. If we ruin it, well, we got nowhere else to go. Well, anyway, that was heavy, I know, but it's important. So, and moving forward, I will be bringing up climate change at the end of every video because this is a problem that needs to be addressed. And it's not going to be an easy fix, and maybe there is no fix, but even if we fail, we can at least slow it down, give more people more time to have a decent life. Anyway, so let's look at the T-stop. Now, if you look at here, I'm leaning back a bit. What you got to do when you're doing T-stops is that you have to maintain your axis, but the way it works is it depends on how much speed you have. When you're stopping, the more speed you have, your foot stops, and then the rest of your body will want to keep going forward. And if you're a beginner, well, often people, what they do is they lean forward and then they stop. So their heels stop, and then their hips, and then their upper body, so they end up falling over or leaning forward a lot. And that happens when you just, after a while, you get used to it. You'll know, like in this case, I have enough speed that I actually sit back, because as I'm stopping here, my body will get pushed forward by the momentum itself. If you watch here, there, see, watch, the momentum keeps me going. And we're just gonna watch a few more here. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Normally in dance, you don't really do stops after every little thing. You generally just kind of glide around after you're done. Like when you would do a section or whatever, you do an exit with a glide, you don't just come to a T-stop, like moves in the field. And now this is what I'm talking about. This is important too. See, this is a stop attempted with a inside edge. This is the inside edge, that's the outside edge. If you do this, you could really hurt your knee, because this can catch and you can tear the muscle on your knee. And I know this because I had a friend who was a novice at the time, so he's a pretty good skater. He did that. He needed surgery. He messed up his knee really bad because he caught his foot on a T-stop. Anyway, so if you look here, that part's important. Now, when you're practicing T-stops, what a lot of skaters do is they force their foot down really quickly. You can just be soft. Gradually keep your foot coming down. Keep 90% of your weight on the skating foot, and progressively just add a little bit of weight to the stopping foot. And you can just use the drag of the foot behind you. Now, I know that takes enough control to be able to do, but let's look at this real quick here. There, just come to a gradual stop. Alright, and just practice them, practice, and practice. Eventually, you're going to be fine. For the full details, check out episode 20, the T-stop. And then let's see here. Now the other question for Epic Reaper Games, and then I gotta get going here. Let's see here. I said, I'm having some trouble on backward inside 3 turns. Can you give me some tips? Yes, we can. Let's do that real quick. Just gonna come back up here. Now, I just don't remember what specific video I had the backward inside 3 turns, so I'm just going to go straight to turns. For one thing, like I said earlier, you want to have your edges, so make sure that you have you're comfortable with your edges that you need to use for said turns. If you have weak edges and you try to do a turn, that's just going to make the problem worse. But let's take a look here. Backward inside 3 turns. Alright, let me just find it. Backward inside 3 turns. Here we go. Alright, jumping ahead. Alright, so depending upon what the problem is, oftentimes, well, first of all, let me just show you what's going on here. Now, just as I said at the beginning of this video, technique varies from coach to coach, and there's more than one way to do something in skating, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before. In this case, what I'm doing is, I'm using my rotation and my free leg to help maintain my edge and my curve. You can do different action. You can keep this free leg in if you want. I personally like to bring the free leg across, but in order to keep myself from twisting right off that edge, because this would want to send me here, I cross-check. Cross-checking is your hips going one way, this way, and your upper body's going the other. That's called cross-checking. You do that a lot in turns. So let's take a look real quick here. I'm just gonna... Okay, that's a tango stop right there. Alright, so here... Okay, so the important thing is, when you set, let me just roll this back. Now you can keep the leg in, or you can keep it out and stretched out. Here I'm keeping it in, and I'm going to stretch probably out afterwards. what happens here is you want to ride the heel. If you're up on the front of your skate, you're not going to be able to turn. You're just going to skid out. If you're in the middle, you're going to skid out. You have to turn through the heel when you're turning from backwards to forwards. When you're going from forwards to backwards, you start on the heel, and then you go to the ball, make the turn on the ball of the foot, and then you go back to the heel. Now, if you're going backwards to forwards, you start on the heel, you turn on the heel, you stay on the heel. Pretty much. I mean, yeah, there's a bit of movement in terms of on the blade, but it's not, you don't go heel, ball, heel, because if you do, there's no way you're going to turn from backwards to forwards. Okay, so continuing here, watch me, I turn, yep, and then at this point you can just leave it here if you wanted to. You don't have to bring it forward, but this way I'm keeping my back to the circle I'm on, maintaining my edge, keeping my feet together. Now, if you go further, there, I stretch it out. You can do that, you don't have to. And again, you have to make sure that your edges are strong enough to be comfortable doing this. A lot of these turns, they're just going to be a nightmare if you're really struggling with the edges that you have to use there. So make sure you work a lot on your edges, crossovers, and turns. And stroking as well. Alright, and... Alright everyone, well I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Again, I'm glad that we're doing this again. I am moving the videos, these ones, the Ice Dance League Live, to my Patreon because they're not as popular as my other videos, and I just don't want to spam my channel with videos that people aren't looking to watch so much, because then it's just going to turn a lot of people off. So I'm going to keep doing them. I'm still going to live stream off of YouTube. But after each live stream is done, then it's not going to be posted to YouTube, but I'll post it to my Patreon. And I will try to come up with a schedule that works. It's hard with training right now. I'm just getting so tired from some days. Like today, I was much later than I planned. But eventually, I'm going to work out a schedule that works, and I'll be able to stick to it. And of course, I'm going to keep making my educational videos because that's primarily what people come here for. So I want to keep reinforcing that. And I'm going to keep pushing the importance of protecting the planet for future generations, and current and future generations, because it's the only planet we got. So get involved, get others involved, and let's make a difference. Alright, Oleg signing out.